A very good afternoon to all of you. It's my honor to share with you a brief introduction of Sarawak Chinese. I will introduce Sarawak Chinese from the different aspects, ranging from the migration history, cultural traits and customs, language, education, religion, occupation, folk, and others. There are altogether 45 slides in this presentation with lots of photos. I hope you will enjoy the presentation. If you have any questions, you are most welcome to discuss in the Q&A sections later on. So let's start my lecture with this slide. Sarawak Chinese migration started in the year 1830 during the late Qing dynasty. Please pay a special attention to the first photo, especially the Sanchen Jinliang, or the 3-inch golden lotus or woman's bound feet of my great-grandmother, which represented the status symbol of the late Qing dynasty. My great-grandfather migrated to Sarawak in the year 1902, one of the third batch Fuchao settlement followers of Onai. Nowadays, our family has reached the 6th generation, whereas the earlier Sarawak Chinese might have 7 or more generations. From the slide, you can see the changing of the costumes, which represents the evolution of the Sarawak Chinese. The cheongsam that I wear belongs to my mother with more than 60 years history, and I still wear it during every Chinese New Year festival. Now, let us look at the Sarawak Chinese population. Sarawak Chinese is the third largest ethnic group in Sarawak, which occupies 21.7% of the total population. So among the Sarawak Chinese, there are different Chinese dialect groups, of which the Fuchao is the most number, followed by Hakka, then Hokkien, Teochew, Cantonese, Henghua, Hainanese, and others. We all know that Chinese are from China. So China is such a big country, but our Sarawak Chinese only from the southern part of the China. They are from 2 provinces, that is the Fujian and the Guangdong provinces, Fujian and Guangdong. And the pull and the push factors of which the Chinese come from China to Sarawak are due to economic pressure, natural disasters, political instability, famine, war, environmental, and social reasons. There are 3 waves of Sarawak Chinese to migration. The first wave started at 1830, of which the Sarawak Chinese are from Kalimantan, the Sambas of Kalimantan to Bau is here. And then the second wave is after 1841, of which the Chinese are from China to Singapore, then to Sarawak. And the third batch is in the 19th to 20th century, of which there are 4 mass migration. The first migration is the Hakka in the year 1898, led by Gong Kui Eng under the Bachelor Mission Society. The second is the Fuchao migration in the year 1901, led by Onai Xiong and under the Methodist Church. And then the third batch is the Cantonese in the year 1901, led by Deng Gongsu. And the fourth is the Henghua migration in the year 1911, led by the Reverend Brewster under the Methodist Church. So the roots of the Sarawak Chinese, from here, the first wave is all the Hakkas. Then the second wave is the Hokkien, Cantonese, Chaoang or Teochew. The third wave is the Hainan and Fuchao and Henghua and Cantonese. So the migration of the Chinese from China to Sarawak, they are using the sailing boat, bring along their bamboo heads, the oil paper umbrella, the suitcase. All these are the different suitcases, and the biscuit tin. This tin is very good in function. If they drop in the river, this will prevent them from getting salted. Okay, then for the migration documents, these are the different types of the identity cards and passport of the Sarawak Chinese migration. This is the IC of my great-grandmother. And then the IC, they all have the stamps, Sarawak stamp on it. Now, let us look at the distribution and the residential patterns of Sarawak Chinese. This is the first settlement, foot-child settlement in Cebu. So, and the houses, they built along the Rejang River basin. Most of them are the wooden stilt houses, which are maybe 6 to 7 feet high. The purpose is for them to prevent the flooding, or maybe the snakes or insects or the rats or the others to enter the house. So the miniskirt era in the 1950s and with the stilt houses. Then for this type of pattern, this is my great-grandfather houses. You can see with the stilt houses, then the ancestor photo hang in the middle of the sitting hall, and there is a wooden benches in between is for the social activities. The houses in the Kuching for the agriculturalists, and the houses also, this one, the modern time. The distribution of Chinese population, of which first, third, fourth, and the eighth division occupy 83.5%, of which Kuching 46, Cebu 28.6, Miri and Bintulu 22.3%. Then 85% dwellers are in urban areas. Now let us look at the traditional living style of Chinese. River as the mode of transport. People using the rivers for washing, for bathing, swimming, and then fishing. And then in the rural area, while they are doing the cooking, at the same time, they are having the rubber sheets smoking. And then many Sarawakian Chinese, they work as the wharf or the dock workers. Sarawak Chinese shophouses shows that Chinese are hard work and they are business acumen. Majority of them, or most of them, they are doing the shopkeepers, traders, smallholders, and the market gardeners. These are the Teochew style, the grocery shops, and then the shophouses, the adult street, and then the shophouses at the Senior Wang, and the modern shophouses. Now let us look at the Sarawak Chinese economic activities. There is a shift from agricultural to a non-agricultural economy. At the very beginning, Chinese at the Bao, they are doing the gold mining and the agricultural activities. Then they shift to paper planting, rubber tapping, especially the foot-childs in the Cebu area or Rejang River basin. Then after that, they are having the lumbering, and then followed by shipping, banking, business, oil palm plantation, oil and gas, etc. So different Chinese dialects group have the different types of occupation. They have a co-relationship, of which Hokkien and the Teochew, they trade in rubber and the grocery goods. For foot-child, they involve in paper, rubber planters, lumbering, shipbuilding, banking. Then Hakka, they are the gold miners in agriculture. For Cantonese, they are doing the lumbering, artisans at oil field and the business. Hainanese, they are expert in the coffee shops, and the Henghuas in fishing and mechanical trades. These are the Henghua. Okay, this one is the traditional envelope. Now, let us look at the education. So Chinese emphasize education. According to 2010 record showing that Chinese have 93% literacy rate for those aged 15 and above, because Chinese always emphasize education because they thought that education determine the success of a family. Chinese willing to mortgage or pawn their properties just for the sake of the education of the future generations. So Chinese involved in intensive voluntary efforts. They built the Chinese vernacular schools or the Chinese independent school, both at the rural and the urban areas. In Sarawak, we have 223 Chinese primary schools. It is the most in Malaysia. In between, 192 is the Sekolah Rendah Bantuan, 31 SLK, and 14 Chinese middle school. So this is the old-time Chinese school, of which they built their own schools, contribute the lands, and then also they employ the teachers and so on. This one is the SRB Chunghua Bintulu, and this is the Chinese Independent School of Kuching, number 1. But for students who study in the SNK or the government school, they have the chances to study Mandarin as well. So long as there are 15 students, then they have to set out the government school have to set out the Chinese class. This is the Bilik Bahasa Cina of SNK Kidorong Bintulu. So if there is a family member who go for overseas, this is a big issue to the Chinese family. The whole family will go to the airport and send off the child or their son for further study. But in the 1960s or 70s, normally it's the one-way ticket for those who go for overseas, because they have to come back only when they are graduate. Not like nowadays, we got the AirAsia or MAS, easy to go overseas and then come back, maybe 1 year for 2 or 3 times. So when their children or their son or daughter get graduated, it's a big celebration of the family. And then not only this, the friends and relatives, they will send their congratulations to those graduates on the newspaper, or they will state down the names, the photos, and what other degrees that they achieved, and so on. Okay, now let's talk about the Chinese language. The Chinese in Sarawak live in a multicultural and a multilingual society. They mix well with Ibans, Chinese, Malays, Mindanao, and they speak Malay, Mandarin, English, and dialects, or Iban. And also the Ibans and Malay, they learn Chinese language as well. Now, let us look at the Chinese language. Chinese language is in a unique structure, with unique structure and the pronunciation system. It is a pictographic language with different visual presentations. For example, this is the mountain, Sang, take the shape of the mountain. And this is the mouth, Kou, of which looks like the Kou. And this is moon, Yue, just take the shape of the moon. So this is the changes of the language of the sun and the moon. So the sun, the water, the fire, the fish, the sun, and the moon. And then Chinese language, we call it Hanyu Pinyin, have 4 main tones, which is the flat tone, the rising tone, the falling rising, and then the falling tone. Each tone, they will represent different meanings of the words, such as ma, ma, ma. Ma means mother, ma means fiber, ma means host, and then ma means curse, and the the question marks. Then the writing of the Chinese have the 8 important strokes, like this, 点横竖撇捺提, okay. Now, let us talk about the different Chinese dialects. So Chinese emphasize a lot on the food. So when they greet each other, they will ask you, have you taken your meal? Or sudah makan? Or 吃饱了吗? Okay. So only the food child alone got the 10 counties. In Sarawak, we have Gutian, Minqing, Penang, Minhao, Chanle, etc. So my mom is Gutian. If have you taken, she will say, 下巴妹. Then my husband is from Minqing. They will ask, have you taken as a 下巴妹? Now, let us listen to those Namping, Henghua, and Hakka, how they pronounce the words.
下巴妹哦，下巴妹，食饱忙.
Okay, so this is the different dialects of Sarawak Chinese.
下巴妹，食饱忙.
Okay, now let's turn to the religion of Sarawak Chinese. Chinese, among 45% of them embrace the Buddhism, 35% adore the Christianity, 10% Confucianism, 1.3% Taoism, and others, 6.1% no religion, and 1.3% Islam in the other 4 regions. So this is the temple at the Kuching near the Sarawak River, Chinsang Yang. This is the Topekong Temple at Cebu. And then this one is the Kanawik Temple at Kanawik. And this one is Cebu. So most of the temples are along the rivers. So Chinese will go to the temple for worship, seek for the peace and the blessing. However, Christianity is much more popular among the Chinese in the urban area. So in the Sarawak, we can see all sorts of the Catholic churches, Anglican church. This one is in Cochin, Cebu, and the Kanawik. And then we have the most Methodist churches in Malaysia. Then this is the first Methodist church of Cebu in the year 1901. And this one is the rural church in Romaan. So there's a slogan, so long as there is a church, then there is a school. School is always together with the church. Then this is the Gutian Church at the Cebu along the Rajang River Basin. And this is the Cebu Muslim Methodist Church. Then one point I would like to highlight from Sarawak to Australia. So following the migrants of the Cebu Fuchao to Australia, they bring along the religion as well. So nowadays in Australia, we have the CNCA, that is the Chinese Methodist Church in Australia, and there are altogether 27 Methodist churches. And from there, they extend to New Zealand. So there are 8 Methodist churches in New Zealand, and then extend again to Papua New Guinea, got the 6 churches, and 1 church in the Solomon Islands. Now let us look at the Chinese festivals. Chinese keep their heritage and the traditional festival incredibly well. Despite they keep the fascinating traditional cultural values, they are more than willing to accept and assimilate with other cultures. So Chinese celebrate Chinese New Year, Qingming Festival, Dragon Boat Festival, Hungry Gods Festival, Mid-Autumn Festival, and Winter Solstice Festival. Now let me talk about the Chinese New Year. Chinese New Year starts since Ming Dynasty. Chinese celebrate Chinese New Year for 15 days. So Chinese New Year Eve dinner is the most important among the Chinese. It represents reunion. So this is the New Year Eve dinner. We eat with the round table. The elders always sit in the middle. And on the table, there's always a fish, which means surplus every year, 年年有余. And then we have 年糕. 年糕 means advancement in the new year. Then we have the 安包. 安包 means the blessings for the year to come. And the 安包 is for the younger generations who haven't get married. And then we have the firecrackers and the lion dance, which bring fortune and chase away evil spirits. And then during the New Year time, we will wear the red color dresses or cheongsang, and the lanterns are all in red. Now let me talk about the Qingming Festival. Qingming Festival is the Tong Sweeping Day, or the Chinese Memorial Day, or the Ancestor Day, started since Tang Dynasty. So during this day, all the family members will go to the tomb of the ancestors, to the graveyard of the ancestor for the sweeping, cleaning, and remembering them. Okay, so for Christians, normally they will bring along the flowers, and then they light the candles, flowers and candles. And then for non-Christian, they will worship their ancestor by offering the traditional food, like have the joss sticks and the joss pepper. This is the Dragon Boat Festival, celebrated by Chinese to remember the poet Qu Yang. The festival started in Warring State periods. Then, can you see the dragon boat here with the hornbills? The hornbills to state that this is the Chinese celebration in the Sarawak. And then for the different dialects groups, we have the different types of the dumplings. This is Hokkien, Nonya, Hakka, Hainanese, Cantonese, and Teochew. Some of them are in the pillow shape, some are in triangular shape. And then Chinese also celebrate the Hungry Ghost in the mid of July of the lunar calendar, which means on that days, all the gods will come out. So Chinese also celebrate Mid-Autumn or Mooncake Festival, which started in Tang Dynasty. So different area have the different types of the mooncakes. So this is the mooncake. But here I would like to highlight 3 types of the special mooncake in Sarawak. This one is the Fuchao mooncake, and this one is the Zhao Ang mooncake, and this is the Sarawak special type of mooncake, layer mooncake. And another festival is the winter solstice, which are normally celebrated during the 22nd of December to remark the end of the year, and then the new year is coming. Now, let me talk about the childbirth ritual. Normally, for the childbirth, the mother will have to follow the 1-month confinement, then with all sorts of nutritious food. And then the friends and relatives will come for the blessing. And then the host or the family, they will cook the long life meal, red wine, long life meal for the relatives and friends. This is the food. And then the egg, they will dye in the red color to represent, this is the red color that Chinese like the most. So this one is for the food child, the confinement food. This one is the Hakka confinement food, known as the kacama. And then when the birthday child reach 1 year old, normally they have a celebration called as Zhuazhou, which means they put different types of things, maybe ruler, the key, calculator, drumstick, or what. So they see what are the things, what are the items that the birthday child hold first, which will represent maybe he or her the future career. Okay, and then they will take the photo during the birthday or what. Okay, now let me talk about the marriage rituals of Chinese. So this one, the photo credit to Mr. Cai Zhongxian, which is shared on Facebook, regarding the marriage of the 30th in the 1930s and then 1950s. And then this one is the traditional costume for the marriage. And nowadays, Chinese always love to take the family group photos. So this is the 1970s, and this one is the modern day. Now I would like to highlight the marriage certificate. This is the marriage certificate in the year 1930 or 20s. And a very special point is that they state down the amount of the dowry. So this one is $120 in that day. And then after that, the bride, they will prepare all sorts of this one for the wedding day to bring to the house of the bridegroom. So this is the fuchao style. And then for fuchao, nowadays no more existing, but in the 70s or 80s, they will make this type of the wedding biscuits we call as li bing, le bia. So the bigger you receive, then the gift will be much more expensive. Maybe it's the golden necklace or the ring or what. Okay, so this one is the bridal sedan chair, of which the bride sit on it. Nowadays we can't see this anymore. And then this one is the wedding procession during the 1960s, of which no more existing nowadays. Now, since Chinese have so many dialects groups, I just point out the future marriage rituals for you. So on the wedding day, they will pay the respect to their ancestors, and then they will have they will bow their heads 3 times to their elders. So san ji gong, okay, as a symbol of the respect to the elders. Then after they have the san ji gong, yi ji gong, ji gong, san ji gong, then the elders will give them the gifts or the presents as a blessing. And then the bride and the bridegroom, when they leave the house, normally there is a red umbrella. This one is to chase away the evils and then to bring the blessings. And another special ritual of the fuchao is when the bride intend to leave the house, the car will drive forward, backward for 3 times to show that the bride is not willing to leave her house. But the brother of the bride, he will pull the piece of the cloth away, and then to represent that he allowed the bride to, after the marriage, to live together with the bridegroom. So normally for child, they have their marriage in the church, blessed by the pastor or reverends. Then after the church ceremony is the group photos. And then another one is after the wedding ceremony, this one, the bridal flower thrown by the bride. For those who receive the flower, represents that she will be the bride to be, okay? Now let me talk about the funeral or the burial rites of Chinese. Normally the funeral rites takes 3 days. So they will have the obituary on the newspaper. This one is in the 1970s, the obituary of my great-grandmother. And then the second day, they will come for the last respect. And then the funerals will be on the 3rd day. But nowadays, they have the photos. They have the photo on the obituary. And then with all the descendants, all the grandchildren, all the names were listed down. And a very special point of the Sarawak Chinese is that on the tombstone, they will write down the ancestral home, all the address from the province, village, town, and then the name of their sons and the daughters. And then there is different colors of the mourning attire among the Chinese. Normally for the grandchildren, for the son is white in color, for the grandchildren is yellow. But if the elder is reached 100 years old, then the descendants will wear in the red color to represent this is a blessing. And then normally for the Christians, they will send all sorts of flowers, and then with the cross on the tomb. Now let me talk about the spiritual belief of Chinese. Red is the luckiest color to Chinese as a symbol of joy, celebration, vitality, success, and good fortune. The color of celebrations and prosperity. That's why today I wear in red as well. So events such as weddings and festivals like Chinese New Year, everything from red lanterns lining the street to red outfits and red letters posted on those. Then 8 is the lucky number because Ba means far, is to make fortune. So it's the wealth, prosperity, success, and the status. But 4 is the unlucky number because it's pronounced as Si, as a death. And then there's no bright color dress, no bad words, or no quarrels, or no sweeping during the Chinese New Year. And the Chinese, they believe in the 12th zodiac, of which this year, 2023, is the rabbit year. So this is the rabbit year. And then next year is the dragon year, of which the Chinese like the most. So both year is designated by animal symbols. And then Chinese also believe in feng shui. And then there is the Chinese taboos, which no feng li, don't give away the pay because of feng li. And then no turnover of the fish, especially for those fishermen. And then there is no white flowers because white flowers are for the funerals. And then don't give clothes as a gift to Chinese because the sound song zhong, okay, just like the funeral procession. Okay, let's talk about the traditional cultural norms and values. So Chinese emphasize the filial piety, and they favor the early marriage and high fertility. That is for the old days, not the modern time. And then the kinship system, the continuity of the family name and the ancestral worship. So Chinese honor the older people in the higher positions. Ancestor photos always hang in the central position of the sitting room. The elders are respected, taken care of, and revered by the rest of the family. They always sit in the middle. And then they let the elders take the lead at the dinner. They take care of parents at old age, and they favor early marriage with high fertility. Normally can reach for 5 generations. And the Chinese kinship system emphasizes on the continuity and the perpetuation of family name and the ancestral worship. The titles and seniority are very important to the Chinese. Also, Chinese emphasize the guanxi, the gathering. That's why they built a lot of the voluntary association based on the clan, dialects, culture, education, religions, occupation, etc. So Chinese like to do things in groups. So this is the Fuchao Association in Sipu. This one is the Hokkien Association in Kuching, and the Sipu Hakka Association, etc. This one is the Hokkien Society Association. I think it's in Miri of Baran. So this is Chinese Kung Fu and the 24 festival drums, traditional musical instrument, which has the strings or the plucked strings, etc., the Chinese dance. Then the Chinese calligraphy using the Chinese brush to write the words. So in Sarawak, we can see the Malays or the Ibans, they learn the Chinese calligraphy as well, and they join the competition. So this is the Chinese calligraphy, the Chinese poetry, the Chinese arts, Chinese chess, and the Chinese abacus for the mathematics or for the businessmen. For Chinese food, traditionally we eat rice, then the baozi and the noodles. And Chinese people use chopstick to take their food or meal. So they believe that chopstick can bring us the brain stimulation and boost the memory. Also, nowadays, with the mixture of the different ethnic groups, then we have the Nonya Kueh also. Now, let me talk about the food or the cuisine of the Sarawak Chinese. So, Fuchao is the most number of Sarawak Chinese nowadays since 1980s. So we can easily find different types of the Fuchao food in Sarawak, of which the most popular is the red wine chicken soup, long life mee. So they will have the long life mee no matter Chinese New Year, birthday, or whatever celebration. The longer the mee, the longer the life. And then Kampua, everybody should know Kampua is very popular in Cebu and Sarawak, even in Australia here. And then this is the Gompia, of which they bake it in the furnace. So for the Hakka, this is the Hakka Lei Cha, very popular. And then Hakka Yuen Tau Fu and the Hakka Chai Pat. For Hokkien, this is the Hokkien long life mee they eat during the first day of the Chinese New Year. They call it Si Mian because it is sweet in the taste. And then the Hokkien mee, and then this one is the Lo Bat. Teochew Cantonese, and then the Teochew Kueh and the Chwee Kueh. For Heng Hua is very popular in Bihung. Heng Hua Bihung, this is the traditional food they eat during Chinese New Year and the Kueh. And then Hainan is popular in Hainanese chicken rice, and then they are good in making coffee and the toast, and then the Kueh, and then the Cantonese. This is the traditional dishes of Cantonese. And then there's another type of, in Huining, in Sibu, Huining people, they are famous for their sour duck, and then the sajianji, and then this one is the gansa. Okay, just now I talked about the different dialects group, is their traditional food, but for Sarawak Chinese itself, we have our Sarawak local food, of which it is not traditional, but only you can find in Sarawak. If you leave Sarawak, then you cannot eat this type of food. The first one I should mention about Sarawak Laksa. So it is believed that Sarawak Laksa is found in Kuching, and then it's the mixture of Teochew plus the Malay plus Indian. So with the 30 plus spices, which is very spicy and nice and popular all over the world. And then this one is the golok mee you can find in Kuching. And the very special one is the sambal bihung in Kuching. And the kway chap is also it's a mixture of the Teochew style And this one, tomato kway teow, you can find in Sarawak only as well. This one is from Cebu, Kampua. And then the fish, the most expensive fish in the world along the upper river region, this is the emperor. So now 1 kg may reach 1,000 or 1,200 Malaysian ringgit, I think. This is the futao fried cooked meat, 炒煮面, very nice. The taste can only find in the Sarawak, I think. And another one is the Tim Biang Hu, is the futao traditional dish, of which nowadays it's quite difficult to taste this one. And then in the Sarike, it's very popular for the prawns, prawn in the coconut, the prawn meat in coconut. And then another type of the prawn can find in Sarawak only is this one, the miliang. And then the tapai, nowadays tapai is so expensive, 1 kilo can cost $100, I think. And the gombia, the kueh lapis, then the muka keropok with the achar. So this is very typical Sarawak food. So let us look at the Sarawak laksa. Sarawak laksa, recounted by the late Anthony Borden as the breakfast of the gods. It represents the multi-ethnic makeup of its population, with a mixture of more than 30 spices, remarks the crossover of the Sarawak cultural influences. So this is the photo that I took in the Perth with the Cebu photos. And then in the Perth, another restaurant known as, the name is Kuching, or the Two Hands by Sarawak Cebu. They introduced the Sarawak dishes to those people all over the world, and they love it so much. They have to have a long queue before they can enjoy all these dishes. And the Sarawak layer cake is also a symbol of unity, diversity, and an icon of the Sarawakian culture. So nowadays, Chinese they serve their visitors with the Sarawak cake as well during Chinese New Year. So Sarawak Chinese celebrate Chinese New Year in Perth. So they treat their visitors with the Sarawak laksa as well, and the Sarawak layer cakes. And then the keropok with achar. Yeah, the layer cake, this one I make it myself. And all this. So Sarawak Chinese, the people in Sarawak, they have a very good relationship with government, with China and other countries. When the culprits hang outside the council of the city of Kuching South, you can see there's a very good relationship. And then the Malaysia-China friendship part and the Chinese pavilion to show the harmony and the good relationships. So if you want to know more about the Sarawak Chinese, you may visit the museum or the heritage gallery, of which the Borneo Culture Museum, Sarawak History Museum, the Cebu Heritage Center, or the War Futao Heritage Gallery at the Cebu, okay? And another one, Gutian Gallery at the Cebu as well. Now I would like to mention about Sarawak Chinese Cultural Association. If you want to have a better understanding of the Sarawak Chinese, I would like to introduce you to contact Sarawak Chinese Association in the Cebu, which established for 30 years already, because there are so many local historians or the scholars, they write the books regarding the Sarawak Chinese. And then some of the books are in English, majority of them are in the Mandarin. So sometimes they have the international conference on the Borneo Chinese studies, and they even have this one, the MOE with the universities from Taiwan or from China. Okay, so they always launch the new books, etc. So come to my conclusion. So Sarawak Chinese migration started since 18th century should be 19th century in the three ways. And then the Chinese community play important role towards the development of Sarawak. If you have any question and answer, you are most welcome. Okay, thank you.